It's summer and it's getting hot, so I decided to make this. It's a Lego rotating fan. So I didn't have the actual fan blades, so I just used these TECHNIC plates for the fan blades. But they're pretty nice. You spin them in this direction, they scoop up the air and send them that way. And you can't really spin it the other way, because if you did, I don't know, lots of weird things would happen. It just doesn't blow that way very well, but it blows this way really well. It's powered by 3 motors, 2 extra large Control Plus motors here and here, and 1 Lego MINDSTORMS motor here, and then I have MINDSTORMS hub right here. So I made a program that spins this motor at a slow speed, and that does the rotating, and then it spins these, and you can choose the speed that these two spin at. And they're these 2 motors, I have 2 of them just for extra power, and so like they don't have to run at full power the entire time. And it's geared at a 1:15 gear ratio from the motors to the fan. So spin the motors once and the fan spins 15 times. So that's pretty good. And then the rotating mechanism is really simple. It's just I attached a little lift arm to the motor, and then attach it to a bar that's attached to the other side of the gear. So as the motor spins, it pushes and pulls on that lift arm, which moves this bar, and that's attached to the axle of the gear. So then that gear just wiggles a little bit, and that wiggles the bigger gear right here that the motors and fan are attached to. So it's pretty cool. So here's the program. So it automatically starts up the rotating part. So as you can see, it rotates like this. It rotates more to the left than to the right, because the gear would be lined up perfectly if the teeth were offset a certain way. Since they aren't, it's one tooth to the left. So it's really hard to see, but you can see the 2 dots here and here. Well, I guess 6 dots, but 2 for each motor, so that's how you can tell if they're plugged in. If I unplug one, it disappears, and then there's just these 2. So, gotta plug it back in. With the program, I can change the speed of the fan with this. So this is actually using power, the amount of power I'm giving to the fan or motors. So like it's 10% power for each time I press this. So I'm doing this instead of like using speed, because if it did speed, it's gonna like introduce a lot of power, and then once it gets at or past the speed, it's gonna cut out. So then it just makes this go in a really weird speed pattern unless it's actually going at full speed. So I used power so it can go at slow speeds easily. But anyways, it spins. This is the slowest speed, and it can get pretty fast. I also made it beep if you press the button, so you might be able to hear it. So it beeps, and then if you hold this button 5 past the like negative point or 0 point, so like if the fan is stopped and you hold this button for like, actually no, not 5, it's more like 8 button presses, so then it has the higher pitched beep, and that just means that this automatically goes to position not 0, really close to 0, where this should be facing pretty straight. So it automatically makes this face straight and then stops the motor. So I can do that again. But the way I programmed it was, if you have this all the way on by holding the button, then if you hold this button again, you have to get it all the way down to 0 and then past that again. So it's really nice. Overall, it's really cool. It didn't take me too long to build. It was probably just a few hours. And it works really well. It's actually useful. I usually, like, if I'm using it, I usually just keep it on, like, power of, like, 30% or something, because I don't want to max out the motors, but it is really nice. So I'm just going to turn it around so you can see the backside. Yeah, wire management is practically 0, but wires go through here, and then next wire goes through here. This leg is a little weird, just because I wanted to mount the motor to it, So yeah, I just built this really quickly, but it turned out really well. It actually works, so that's really nice. Another thing, because the fan has to spin so fast sometimes, I actually lubricated the axle with graphite. So if you look at this spacer right there, that has graphite on it because one edge of it hits this bar. But then like the axle in here has graphite on it. I put graphite on the gears, which you could probably see. Yeah, so graphite on the gears, not these ones because these ones don't spin very fast. And then graphite on this axle and the axle that goes here because those ones actually spin fast. So this is 10% power, 20% power, 30% power, 40% power, 50% power, 60% power, 70% power. Oh, it's moving a little bit. 80% power, 90% power, and then this is max speed. As you can see, it moves. So that's the power of the fan. And it fell over.